Hello and welcome to Palo Alto Content ID video series. So we have seen antivirus and URL filtering profile in last few videos. Now in this video we will focus on vulnerability protection profile. So let's see what task we have for this video. Uh, Let me scroll down to task number 5. Okay. So it says for this task install one application which is Icecast for example on the test machine, and then application download link is there, and then objective here is to configure vulnerability protection profile in monitor mode and make necessary change on the firewall to allow from DMZ to LAN. Perfect. So policy should not be an issue in our case. And then from Kali machine to export Icecast application through firewall and verify that in logs. Okay, that's the URL we have. So let me copy that again, my VPN. Let me connect back to the VPN. I have my VPN up now and it should pop up in a second. Perfect. So let me close all these URLs. And this is the URL from where you need to download that application. And the moment you click here on this tab, this link, so application will be downloaded. So this application is already installed on this test machine, and if you see on this desktop, I have this it should be there should be this application. So here we have Icecast Win32 and start this application. This application listens traffic on port number 8000. So to exploit this application, we will launch Kali machine. So let's pop up this. So 192.168.70.221. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's see if this machine is up or not. Let me verify that. So I'll pause the video for a few seconds to make this Kali machine up and running. So we have our Kali up and running. Username and then password. So I'll create a username and password for you guys, and we'll mention that in the task, so you can use that username and password to log into this machine and then do a test. So to exploit that vulnerability, will pop up Metasploit. Sorry, MSF console, and meanwhile go to Palo Alto objects, vulnerability protection, create another profile which is TFM pan and vulnerable. Give the name as monitor mode. So we will select the action as alert for everything. So host type any, category any, everything is any, and action is set to alert. So let's see, do we have signature for Icecast application or not? So go to exception, show all signatures, search for Icecast, and we have this header buffer overflow vulnerability signature. Perfect. So default action for this is reset, but we have selected the action as alert. So we should see attack is happening. We are able to compromise that machine, and we will verify the logs how it is happening. So we have I did cancel. So TFM, let me create it again, and then vulnerable rule name monitor mode, and rest everything is default, and action set to alert. Okay. Go to policies, internet access, go to action and select vulnerability profile here. Push the changes. So we have our little friend Metasploit popped up. So to search any exploit, you can use search command. So I'm using search icecast. So we should get where, if there is any exploit available with the Metasploit or not. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay. So to use this exploit, use command, and then we are inside this exploit. We should do show options. So remote port is 8000, which is allowed by our policy, and then remote host is the IP address which we need to specify. So in our case it is 136.1.125, and let me verify. It is 136.125.125. So once exploit is there, what you want to do after that? So that is something known as payload. So I want to take access of that system. So Windows, for example, Windows, perfect. So shell, or in fact we will use Meterpreter directly and then reverse TCP. So we want machine to create a connection back to us, like we have seen in our theory classes, once the exploit has been completed. And now we have a couple of other options enabled, which is lhost and lport. Lhost will be the Kali IP address, which is 136.1.121.121, and I want to verify that as well. So duplicate session, password, fconfig 136.1.121.121, and let's see if I can reach this machine or not. Perfect. So connectivity is also there. 443 port I have selected. So reverse connection from my machine, from that victim machine to Kali machine, will be created on this port. So let's do a exploit. So it says something has happened, and now Meterpreter session 1 opened, and I can see a connection back. And if you do a ifconfig says I am on actually 136.1.125.125 machine. So if you do a shell, so I'm on the command prompt of the Windows, net user, these all users are created here. So if you want, you can have a new user created, for example net user gogo123, and then /add, and you can configure this user as an administrator as well. So net local group administrators, then username, and then /. So if you do a net user, I have this user created now, and if RDP is enabled, you can log in with the help of this user. So let me do a exit now. I'm back on Meterpreter. So there are bunch of other things which you can do with the help of Meterpreter. So if you want to see what all processes are running, that can be done. So if you want to see what is your process ID 3348, so 3348 here is icecast2.exe, and then if you do sysinfo, you will be able to see what exactly is running on that machine, whether it's Windows XP. You can have hash dump, all the users and their hashes you can get. So there are so many things which can be done with the help of Metasploit and Meterpreter. So let me close this connection, go back to the firewall, and go to monitor mode, and the logs should come under threat. So the strange part here is, which I have monitored in case of other applications too. Palo Alto somehow is not able to identify that was attack traffic. So there were two things. One was to exploit the vulnerability, and the second was payload. So Palo Alto can detect payload, which is Metasploit Meterpreter, which was triggered after the exploit was completed. And now if you see here, there is no log entry related to IceCast application was being exploited, but there is an entry what happened after we exploited IceCast as an application. So there might be some issue with the signature of that IceCast application, because if we cannot detect, that means we cannot block. But interestingly, we can block this Meterpreter connection back from victim machine to the attacking machine. So in that case, vulnerability will trigger, exploit will happen, but after that, there will be no reverse connection from victim machine to attacking machine. So let's try that now. So go to objects, TFM pan vulnerable, select monitor mode, and now this time action is set to drop. Okay, and commit the changes. Now we should see vulnerability has been triggered, but there will be no logs because somehow Palo Alto is not able to identify that as attack traffic. But we should see there is no connection back, and Firewall has identified that victim machine is trying to connect back to the attacking machine. So all good. So it is okay. Perfect. Application is still running. Go to Kali machine and then do exploit again. Now this time if you see, we can see sending stage. So last time it was there sending stage, and after that we got the Meterpreter connection, but this time there is no connection back. So if you go to the Palo Alto Firewall under monitor tab, we should see a new log entry for Metasploit Meterpreter connection attempt, and this time it says action has dropped. Because this is a very generic payload being generated by Metasploit, so that is the reason all the antivirus, all the security products, technologies has signature for this specific payload, and this can be detected. So if you can detect something, that means you can block that as well. So IceCast exploit was not being detected, that is the reason we cannot block that, but this payload information can be detected, so we have successfully blocked this payload information back from victim machine to Kali machine. So couple of other things we can do here. So for example, go to objects, I'll switch the action back to monitor mode, for example, which is alert. Okay, and comment. Meanwhile, we'll go to Google, we will search for some authentication pages. So let's say login in URL, .php. So here we have couple of login pages. So you can have, so we have seen that in our labs, so I don't want to see that here in this video, but we have seen, we have tested. The moment you will try couple of SQL injection authentication bypass strings, you will be able to log into the applications without any authentication. That is something you can test in your lab. So that's all I have for this video. Let me see what exactly was the task. So again, task was to download this application and then verify in the logs. So we have downloaded application, we were able to exploit the application, and we did set the action as block basically, so that reverse connection can be blocked by the firewall. So that's all for this video. Thank you very much, and I hope you are enjoying this video series from Protefction.